Good morning and welcome to West New York Living. I'm your host, Kevin Sylvester. Glad to have you along on this busy, I'm sure, holiday Memorial Day weekend for you. Today is May 29th, and I'm sure most, if not all of you, have no idea of a product many of you may enjoy this weekend that was first advertised back in 1866. Now, if you're wondering what it was, I can tell you it was a non-alcoholic version or a drink first registered as Pemberton's French wine Coca back in 1885, maybe a hint there. Yes, Coca-Cola, which was advertised for the first time in the Atlanta Journal 155 years ago today. It was billed as a drink that could cure, amongst other things, morphine addiction, indigestion, nerve disorders, headaches, and impotence. Now, if you're wondering, a glass of Coca-Cola, which was first served at the Jacobs Pharmacy in Atlanta back on May 8, 1886, cost a whopping 5 cents at the time. Well, the only crazy promise we're making on today's show, that'll be a good show for you. Here's a look at what's ahead. If you're struggling a little too much to hear the television right now, then let Diversified Hearing and Balance Centers help. We'll tell you why they're premier audiology practice here in Western New York. After that, summertime's the best time to enjoy a backyard oasis. Ivy League Construction can help turn your wasted outdoor space into something special, and they'll be joining us on the show. Plus, a bit later on, we're going to tell you about a unique and easy way to save on your grocery bill. Flash Food will be here to talk about their simple app that makes buying groceries more affordable. And also on today's show, Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center will be here to talk about the importance of blood donations year-round and how you can help make a difference right now. But before we get to any of those great guests, I want to ask a simple question. How many of you watching right now, or maybe your children, have experienced a sports-related injury over the past 6 months? I bet a few of you may even have one more common than you think. I know my first guest can help and would agree. Join us right now from Excelsior Orthopedics is Dr. David Pula. Doctor, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Well, it's that time of year, sports-related injuries, especially with everybody back to sports now. What are some of those sports-related conditions that you see at the office right now in adults and in children?
It definitely is, compounded by the uptick quickly from the COVID epidemic, and things are getting back in full swing. And summer on top of it, it's been quite busy over the last month or so. We see ankle sprains, we see shoulder dislocations, and actually some breaks, ankle breaks and so on, wrist breaks. So it's quite diverse, from soccer to lacrosse to ice hockey.
Yeah, maybe a little golfer's elbow in there, but that's just me. All right, now some people might be suffering right now from a sports-related injury, and they might be hesitant or afraid to see a specialist. What do you say to them about those injuries?
Well, it's definitely a safe time to come back in to get evaluated. There is a downside to kind of ignoring things too long. By all means, you want to get it checked out. All the practices, across the county, and, we can speak personally from Excelsior Orthopedics, we're taking all the precautions that we can. We're socially distancing. The Department of Health still has mask mandates for healthcare facilities. So it is a safe environment. We're doing everything we can to make people feel comfortable, get evaluated so they don't miss out on the important treatment.
Yeah, and then get back on the field. All right, aside from sports medicine, you also specialize in degenerative and arthritic knee conditions. What should someone who's struggling with knee pain or loss of mobility consider?
I think it's time to consider coming back to get further treatment, and that varies from physical therapy, injections, and even surgical intervention. A lot of people have had injections for a long time prior to the epidemic, and now we're trying to get them back into their routine of care. They've been suffering because they can't go grocery shopping, go places with family, go on vacations, and the opportunities kind of open back up to get that treated again.
All right, you're one of the doctors that utilizes robotics for total knee replacement. Can you tell us about that and why you feel that's a good option for patients?
Absolutely. When that non-operative treatment of therapy and injections don't work, we sometimes have to consider knee replacement. There's a standard way of doing it with kind of an eyeball and an external jig to make these cuts and alignments, or we have a robot, which we have, exquisite precision, balancing the knee, making that surgery more reproducible, and I think affects better outcomes in the long term. So it's a great technology, great tool available to us.
And final thing, I know you have a patient educational talk coming up next week. You'd like to tell everybody, make that aware of. What's that talk going to be about?
Absolutely. It's about knee pain, going from non-operative treatment, as we touched on, to surgical treatment. And we talk a little more in depth about all those stages, including robotics. So we'll touch on the presenting symptoms, injections, therapy, activity modification, weight loss, all those different things. And then we'll get into some more detail about surgery and robotics.
And that'll be done via Zoom, so people can do that from the comfort of their home. Excelsior Orthopedics has
Absolutely.
5 office locations across Western New York. To find out more about their specialties of care, head over to their website, excelsiorortho.com. You can also give them a call, 250-9999. Remember, Dr. Pula's virtual Zoom seminar on knee pain will be taking place this coming Thursday at 6:30 p.m. You can register for the event at the website you see on the screen. Now stay right there, because coming up next, we'll hear why Diversified Hearing and Balance Centers is an award-winning audiology center. We'll run down some of the latest technology they offer when it comes to hearing aids. Western New York Living will continue.
This segment of Western New York Living was sponsored by the following: